Hello and welcome to the Dream Receiver Show. Super excited to be here. This is a show about kindness, wellness, and business. And today I have a special guest, Colleen Wynia. She is a holistic healer. She has healing energy and she is from North Vancouver. She will help you align your body and spirit through quantum energy using massage and body work, transformational coaching, spirit communication, and nutrition. Please welcome Colleen Wynia. Thank you for coming. You look beautiful.
Thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much for coming all the way from North Vancouver to White Rock.
Yeah.
That means so much to me. And your lovely gift that you gave me. And the card.
Aw, enjoy. Well, what a beautiful place to come to, as well as a beautiful woman to be connected with.
Thank you, Colleen. Yes, Colleen and I met, oh man, it was just over a year ago in the summer at a networking event.
Yes.
And
where there's food involved.
Yes. And she came out to one of my events also. And we had a fabulous, great time. We sure did. So, Colleen, you're a holistic healer, holistic energy that you say. How did it come about that you started to do that? Like, what made you become a holistic healer?
Yeah, life experience, really. I was in the corporate world for the first chapter of my life, as I like to refer to it as. And then I found out that my cousin, who was like my brother, had cancer. Had a type of rare cancer, malignant melanoma, that was maybe not fast growing, but definitely life-threatening. And while he was not well, and he chose to take the conventional approach versus what I would say now, educate around alternative living using natural choices, and aligning to our heart, right? So his cancer progressed and he was very sick, and a little bit into that, my dad found out he had cancer. And the nuts and bolts of this is these are the first two loves of my life, my two special men. My cousin was like my brother. We shared a sleeping bag, a teddy bear when we were little. And Dad died first, and then Rob died 9 months later. So within 9 months, I lost two very special people, and it was one of the first traumatic losses in my life. And this followed on over the years of about 8 years, losing a person a year. And it just threw me for everything that loop from a heartache, how do I heal the grief, to my huge curiosity, because even at the time, I'm not a nutritionist, but I learned so much about fueling our body with mindset, foods, and how we heal ourselves, and how we, working with energy and whatnot, to help ourselves get to that place of wholeness that I believe we really are. We're not broken, we're not incomplete, but we're just kind of off course. And from that place of losing them, I lost many other loved ones, and then it threw me into that discovery of how do I heal my heart. And while I was in that process, which is a whole nother topic, how I went about doing that, it was with people like yourselves, but at a very deep level of emotional body healing. It opened my door to understanding that there is actually life after death, the way I feel it. Mm-hmm. And so I got interested. I'm a holistic educator in, food, as well as energy healing, as well as all of it, I believe, is energy. Everything that we do, everything we think, how are we feeling, and that energy in which we are vibrating at. You hear about the word frequency. It's very real. There's science behind it. If I'm feeling off and I'm feeling low, I'm feeling depressed, I'm feeling my physical health is jeopardized, my business health is, my money's down. All these things where I might be off is really a measure of my alignment. So I just learned over time, kind of throwing a lot of things together here now, but I learned over time that, how we think, how we feel is an influence on the life that we're leading.
So the initial trigger of getting started was the loss that you felt for your cousin and your father, and then it went on from there.
Well, yes, you
had continued, and I can completely relate to that. The cancer thing, losing my father and a very close coach friend of mine just recently, January 7th, and then February 7th, my coach in Sedona as well. So it was back
to back, very similar.
Yes. Yeah. And what I found really interesting was I was grieving over that. It was very new to me, the first one on January 7th. And I was sitting there quite upset, listening to one coach all of a sudden come up on the screen talking about energy and that when they're around and that type of thing. And then right after that, Colleen pops up on my screen with a YouTube video talking almost identical about energy. And then that things move and things like that. Can you explain a little bit about that? Because shortly after that, some
pretty weird phenomena things have happened.
And you also text me after, like,
I remember that. Yeah, you're like,
so,
whoa!
I said, okay, I have to have you on my show because it's quite amazing, and there's a lot of interest from that video.
There is.
As well.
Actually, there is.
Yeah.
I would say that probably the best thing to do to answer Diane's question is to touch on one or two of the first experiences that happened to me, which helps make it very personal. So I'm going along living my life, and I'd always wondered about what happens when we die, because I'm still in my physical body. And then shortly after Rob had passed, Rob is my cousin. Shortly after Rob died, it started with Rob, which is interesting because 2 days ago was his anniversary of 22 years of his passing. It was March 5th. Today's March 7th. So I started to have this sensation, like there were these weird, I won't go into the first detail, but had these sensations about Rob, like things like were happening, or like there was this kind of sensation that he was around. We'll just keep it simple. So this feeling like he was around. And I don't actually remember how it first happened, but I went around to all the people around me, went to my our auntie who was sat on the bedside with me when Rob passed away. She was on one bedside and I was on the other. At that time I went to her because she was our closest. Diane. Her name was Diane. Diane, do you know what's going on? Do you know what's going on? She goes, I don't know what you're talking about. Colleen, I have no clue what you're talking about. So I went around to my circle of influence, my community, people that I was already friendships with or family, asked them some questions. Nobody knew what I was talking about. Nobody had had the same experience that I was having. So I just expanded it and reached out to the community. Eventually, Diane, my auntie, did introduce me. No, this is a different Diane.
Oh, different. Oh,
yeah,
geez.
Diane Benanos. Diane Benanos. But I did get introduced to someone who was a neighbor down the road who introduced me to a spiritual church, which allowed me to meet some new folks. But to answer the question, the very first time that I started to realize that there was more to meets the eye than just the body when they transition was, I don't know if it's the first one or the second one, but I'm going to tell you the second one because it's really funny. Okay, so every morning I had this old-fashioned radio, and the radio would sit on my bedside and I would wake up to music. And I was living alone. There's no one else I was sharing a room with, a house with. And I woke up one morning and the volume was very loud. And I went, oh, so my mind says, oh, you must have hit the volume button and must have turned it up. And I turned it down, go back to sleep. Next morning, get up to go to work, and the volume's up again. Just about the similar volume. It's like, Okay, third night, same thing. And finally on the fourth, I think something's going on here, right? This is weird. I know I didn't touch that button. So it was about the fourth morning I woke up. And forgive me, I do not know the Chinese language. However, I woke up to this, like this, like, I don't want to be disrespectful of the Chinese language, but it was not English, and it was a radio station it was turned to. It was absolutely not just the volume was up, it was set to a different radio station. And in that moment, I started cracking up laughing. You've got to understand, our spirit loved ones often communicate through their personality or some kind of connection we've all had when they were alive. My cousin Rob, freaking crazy dude. He is like my brother. I want to wring his neck sometimes, but loved it. He was like a bratty brother, but he was full of love. He helped me and supported me in my life in other ways. He was high energy. He was an energy guy. He was very high energy, very into sports. He was a dancer. He could like break dance. He loved music. So I have found over 20 years, the number one way he can, and this is really important for everybody to know. People say, I'm thinking about my dad and I want a sign from my dad and these things are happening, but I don't know if it's my dad. I have people going to my blog, a blog I wrote 4 years ago. Little nothing blog, in my opinion. But it's moving objects of spirit signs. Everyone goes to Google now, and if you type in at home and you type in spirit signs, moving objects, it's going to come up there. So I started to become a believer. I started to be curious about how do you get yourself, how do you work with this thought process? And it's real, and it's through self-experience. So whatever's happening to you in your life, trust it, guys, and allow it to speak to you what the message is. Right? So,
yes. So that is really interesting about the radio station and frequencies, because I don't believe in coincidences at all. So there's something definitely going on there. When I was listening, I was actually listening to Cheryl Richardson, and she was talking about her cat. Mm-hmm. And she was talking about how she went to go see someone about asking if her cat's energy was around, mm-hmm. and to put a ball in the corner of the room and see if it moves. Do you find that people then, this happens to them, but then they second guess it, saying, yeah. So do you find that a lot?
This is actually very recent. On my blog, I received a message which comes into my inbox, and it says, do you accept this, comment? And I'm laughing because to me, having lived it for so long, it was very clear. But the woman, she basically writes, I lost my husband not so long ago, and I've been asking him to show his presence. Then she goes on to say, this has happened, and this has happened, and this reminded me of him. And like, it was like, to me, it was, I knew it was her husband. But she says, I keep asking to please show me the signs. And she had already, in the same paragraph, she had listed this. I don't mean to laugh, I'm sorry. Yeah. She listed the signs that she was asking to find out if it was him. And she described they were like him. And so I just kindly, I wrote her back and I said, yes, you were asking for signs. Those are the signs. Because we often, when this started happening to me, I thought the signs had to be like this big bang on the head. But they're not, they're subtle. And if you're wondering if they're like your spirit friends or your family members, because you get a feeling in your body. You get this vibration through you, like, when someone tells you something and then you go, aha, that's like an aha. You're like, mm-hmm. Yes. Oh my God. And I've seen you go, oh yes.
That's what happened to me when I came across you.
You're like, oh, we're meant to meet each other. Yeah. It's true. We have fun together. Yes. But, right?
Yes.
So that's energy. So when I feel low, I want to be around, tap into my own energy, right? But also be around people that help see the gifts that I have to offer. I'm sorry, got confused. But yeah, so subtle signs are huge signs. And I used to think that I had to stand on stage and be some medium that says, I thought God was guiding me when these started to happen to me. I was doing emotional body healing, and I was doing massages, and I was doing grief counseling. I was doing all these kind of things. And then one day, one of my clients on the table, not only my own experience, she starts feeling, oh my God, I have this sensation and I'm wondering about, and I'm getting a session from you and I'm feeling these man, or trust it, right? So I help people, heal their heart so they can be aligned. But I'm jumping around here a little bit, but just trust the subtle signs. Absolutely.
And that's a big thing about the show. Even it's a love and trust show.
Yeah.
And that's the book that's going to be coming out in June as well. About love and trust. So it's true. Like just trust that is a sign. But you know how you said it was a knock on, it's not a knock on the head?
Not always. Well, sometimes, yeah. But you have one. And sometimes it's a knock on the head, isn't it, right? Like sometimes it's
true. Because, after I watched you, and then I go upstairs and I talk to hubby about it a little bit, and then I come back down and I'm doing some work. Yeah. This binder saying coaches helping coaches. And she was a coach. Yeah. It's Melina Serene. Big leather, heavy duty binder, which is sitting on top of the picture of you and me from the workshop.
Which is wild because it was our workshop photo.
Tipped over, slid. Wow. Yep. Slid down, crashed on the floor super loud because it's about this thick leather on the outside. Okay. Crashes. My husband's upstairs saying, Diane, is everything all right? Yes. My hair's standing up on end.
Yeah, you didn't touch it.
So I open up the closet. Coaches coaching coaches. What? So then, yes. So how many other types of things do you come across with coming up with these different clients or people that
I can't even count, because I've had, what is actually really important, since we're talking about this particular subject matter of afterlife or signs, is to let your viewers, your visitors know that, like, just some of the very common signs for me, they're going to connect with you based on your personality, not only their personality. That's how you recognize them. So number one, you can recognize them because they like to drive a truck, and so your things that are happening to you that are connected to that. But also the subtle signs could be, for me, organization is really key. I love having things like kind of in your home somewhat organized. Well, my sister, who transitioned at 35 over 12 years ago, I've lost I have a spirit family group that's like 13 people, really close to me. But she was organized there, so she would move objects. So if something was placed like this for many years, my dad did this, my cousin did this, more my sister, my dad, you'd come in and something would be, a picture frame would be, on an angle. You'd come in, it would be turned, rocks would be upside down, right? So moving objects.
On your video when you had those different things on your desk that had placed, but that's amazing. Anyways, so like we are running short for time.
We're going to even talk about the depth of that.
We're going to talk about other stuff too. But I just really want to thank you so much for driving out here and coming out here and being on this show with your high energy and sharing this. And you know what? It does make people feel so much better just knowing that they haven't just left you high and dry, that they are around you. And thank you for doing what you do to help people to realize that and to trust that. So thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much. And how can people get in touch with you? I understand you have an ebook out.
Oh, fantastic. Yeah, there's an ebook that I put together. It's called 8 Best Steps to Raise Your Vibration. It's really a mini e-guide. So it's a very fast read, guys. But if you take a look at, we're going to have a link down below here. And if you just visit that, you can download the free ebook. You can share it. You can be connected with me that way. My site is my name, ColleenWynia.com. That's Colleen, ColleenWynia.com. And I'm here to help folks join with Diane to live healthy beyond 100, encompassing all those together. But grab the ebook because it's the first 3 steps right there, help you tune into your feeling body, and find ways to access that so that you can be more there for your loved ones and your relationship in your present life and grow your business. So by bringing those all together, the whole point is to raise your vibration so that you can bring more vibrant health, love, money, and magic to your life.
Beautiful.
Vibrant health, love, money, and magic. This girl's magical. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much, Colleen.